Well, here it is then, the new Mark 7 Golf GTI, and this time round Volkswagen said they've made it quicker, they've made it more comfortable, and most importantly of all, they've made it more fun to drive, and that's why we're here at a racetrack. Now, we'll come back to that later on, because first we need to talk about the design.
As with its predecessors, the Golf GTI features a roof spoiler, some sports exhausts, and a subtle body kit. There's also a red stripe on the grille, which now runs into the headlamps. The Mark 7 has all the classic interior GTI hallmarks too, such as tartan sport seats, a golf ball inspired gear shifter, and various red accents. However, this time round, you start the car by pressing a button, not turning a key.
This new GTI uses a reworked version of the 2-litre turbo from the old car, and when I first found out it was going to have just 217 brake horsepower, I thought it's a little bit off the base really, isn't it? You know, a Ford Focus ST has almost 250 horsepower, but that figure doesn't tell the whole story. You see, torque is actually up from 280 Newton meters to 350 Newton meters, so this car has the same amount of torque pretty much as a Scirocco R. And as a result, it can do 0 to 62 miles an hour in 6.5 seconds, which is on the pace.
The engine is good for 152 miles an hour, yet despite this performance, VW says it can return up to 47 miles per gallon and emits just 139 grams per kilometre of carbon dioxide.
The Golf GTI is built on VW's excellent MQB platform. However, it rides 15mm lower than the normal Golf, and it springs about 30% stiffer, and that obviously makes it handle better. Good news is though, it's not really that much less comfortable. I must admit this car has got the adaptive chassis control, which is about an 800 quid option, but it's well worth paying the extra for, because when you put it into comfort mode, it slackens off the suspension so much that, well, I'm driving on a pretty poorly serviced road right now. It's very comfortable. You could easily live with this car every day. Volkswagen has given this new Golf GTI variable rate steering, and it does take a couple of minutes to get used to it, but you soon do, and then you appreciate it, because it means that when you're on a fast road you don't have to apply so much lock to get the car turning in. In fact, you can go through hairpins just by doing that with the wheel, and in fact this car goes from lock to lock in just 2 turns of the wheel, whereas the old Golf GTI, that would take 3 turns of the wheel, and ultimately it makes the car more agile, it makes it more responsive, and yes, it makes it more fun. You can alter the driving characteristics of the GTI by pressing this driving mode button down here, and you can choose between comfort, normal, or sports, and that alters things like the weight of the steering, the throttle response, and if you've got it, the stiffness of the adaptive chassis control. However, if you choose individual, you can actually alter the parameters yourself, so you can have a sporty steering wheel and throttle response with comfort suspension if you like. And there's also a setting for the diff. Now, what's all that about?
Volkswagen is offering the new Golf GTI with a limited slip differential for the very first time. It comes as part of a performance pack, which also includes some larger brakes with logo calipers and a 10 horsepower upgrade for the engine. And that increases top speed by 3 miles an hour and cuts the 0 to 60 time by 1/10 of a second.
The limited slip diff on this car is a bit different than your traditional mechanical limited slip diff, because it's actually controlled by a computer. And so, here you go, when you turn into a corner, it acts like an open diff. There's no initial understeer like you can get with a mechanical slippy diff. And then when you floor it, it can send up to 100% of the engine's torque to the outer wheel to drag you around, and it really is effective, and it makes this car just so easy to drive fast. So you just get to the apex once again and then floor it, and you feel a little kick as the car finds more traction and just pulls you around.
The new diff was developed on the Scirocco GT race car, and VW says combined with a power upgrade, it makes the car 8 seconds faster around the Nürburgring than the normal Golf GTI.
This performance pack is absolutely brilliant value when you consider it costs the same as 19-inch alloy wheels, and it could either have some bling rims or the performance pack with a limited slip diff, some bigger brakes and some more power. I mean, It's a little bit of a no-brainer, isn't it? Volkswagen has set this car up to be pretty stable, and this plus the fact you can't actually turn the electronic stability program all the way off means that if you're on an open track and you want to drive like an arse, the car isn't quite as playful as a Ford Focus ST. But does that really matter for most people out in the real world, on the road? Nah, I don't really think it does.
Perhaps the main problem with the new GTI is the price. It costs from almost £26,000. However, it does get stuff like bi-xenon headlamps, 18-inch rims and 2-zone climate control as standard. Plus, it just feels posher than the other hot hatches.
So then, what do I think of the new Golf GTI? Have Volkswagen made it more comfortable? Yes. Have they made it quicker? Yes. And have they made it more fun? Yes. However, I've got one more question to add into the mix. Have they made the best all-round hot hatch money can buy? And I think absolutely yes, they have.